All right. Again, adventures, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tears of the Realms.
Can't tell in our Zoom call, but Lex blends in really well with the layout.
He does. I
I
was
I
Yeah.
did that
watching
on
him.
I did that on purpose. You're welcome.
So,
I don't like blending in.
We know.
you always stand out. Stand out,
Out
stand
above the
out
crowd.
there.
Stand
I'm
out.
regretting waking up.
Above the crowd,
Eh.
even if I gotta shout out loud.
Whose mic
Um,
isn't plugged in? I think everybody. If you can't hear us, then that's
no,
broadcasters.
that's not a mic from Velvet
Oh,
Blondie.
mine isn't plugged
I
in.
would,
Sorry.
yeah, because I said that my external keyboard doesn't want to work,
Hmm.
and
The
Velvet
fear
Blondie's
I
isn't
felt
plugged in.
when Jody said that.
Yeah.
So announcements. I meant to mention this last week, and I just forgot. I think it was last week or the week before. It was Free RPG Day, which is a really cool thing that happens. But as part of Free RPG Day, the people that make, or the person actually that makes the tabletop RPG Fabula Ultima, released their own version of basically the open game license, but specifically for Fabula Ultima. So it's called the Fabula Ultima license. But it means that people can create content for Fabula Ultima and publish it and stuff like that, which is really cool. I did a Fabula Ultima campaign this past December. It pitches itself as a JR TTRPG. It's meant to kind of emulate old school JRPGs like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and stuff like that. It's a really fun system. So
Does
I
that
thought that
mean
was
that
really,
you
really cool.
spend several days in one particular area grinding XP until you can level up enough to move to the next area?
Absolutely.
Fun system.
So yeah, that's a really cool thing. Anytime companies create ways for homebrewers to be able to publish their stuff officially, I'm a big fan of that, and I think it's kind of essential for an RPG in this day and age to kind of continue existing. So yeah. That being said, there's already there has been for a few years now a Cipher system SRD and license that you could use to produce Cipher system content. So yeah, another reason why I like the Cipher system in general. They're cool. Other big tabletop RPG adjacent announcement stuff.
In terms of tabletop RPG adjacent things, I know the show isn't related to D&D, but there has been a lot of news coming through about the new edition that's coming through,
Oh yeah,
which has been very fascinating. I highly recommend you check out the articles in D&D Beyond about it.
Wizards of the Coast has been going crazy on their YouTube channel specifically, where they're putting out videos for every class and every subclass. I think yesterday they covered the Ranger and the Wizard.
The Wizard I actually kind of like.
I've been actively avoiding just about everything about 5.5 is what I'm going to call it. Just because when it comes out in early September, I want to be able to look at the book with as fresh eyes as I can. But the few things that I have seen that I haven't been able to avoid, the weapon mastery system seems like it's gotten an overhaul to the point where it looks like it's actually useful compared to the weapon mastery from the playtest, where it was a cool idea that most of the weapon mastery things were pointless. So that was really cool. But yeah, the newest version, officially they're calling it the 2024 update. I think it's probably going to be referred to as D&D 5.5 by most of the audience.
For it.
Yeah, because that's what it is. But
It doesn't seem like it's going to do enough to make it its own version. It looks like it's just going to be like
fully backwards compatible. 3.5 wasn't.
I mean, technically yes and no. They use the same systems. They just changed enough that old characters couldn't really work with the new character roles. But the system itself, all of the defenses were factored the same way. Your hit points, skill points, all that stuff was basically the same. They just changed how you used most of it. But
I'm just saying, I don't think 5.5 is going to catch on.
I don't see it being I don't see the 2024 update catching on either. And 1D&D was never going to be its name. So we'll see what the
I think it's just still going to be called D&D.
Probably.
Also, there's a new Zelda game that got announced, and we get to throw tables.
We
Yes.
talked about that last week, Lex. Where were you?
I know.
Yeah, if you were here.
Also, that wasn't even the biggest news.
No, it wasn't. Metro Prime 4 was the biggest news, and we all know that. Because I remember watching that 7 in the morning and looking at my phone and going, "Did someone check on Elias?" And then I saw.
It was really fun watching his response to it live, because while Mary and I are going, "Oh, this is so cool," Elias is scrambling around to start like typing notes and things like that, and is already figuring out exactly where he wants to go back to rewatch the trailer.
I've rewatched that trailer approximately 172 times.
That sounds about right.
And I also rewatched our reactions, and I just am very loud about it at the beginning and then at the end. And most of in the middle, I'm just silently studying every frame.
It was
Again,
really interesting.
On brand for Elias.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as Jody was going, oh, we were talking about, yeah, like, this is cool, blah, blah, blah. I was like, Elias is probably for most of it just staring at the screen.
Let me be clear.
Intently.
Elias is the type of Metroid fan that when I told him a couple years ago that I bought the GameCube version of Metroid Prime, he's like, "Show me the disc. I want to see the thing," because he wanted to make sure that I got the good one. I didn't know that there were differences. Elias educated me on that.
Elias is such a fan of Metroid and Metroid Prime that he bought me a game
that you've totally played and beat.
I have played, not a lot, but I played it. I don't have my Switch with me right now.
I still need to finish Prime, but I'm also excited to get to play Zero Mission on the Switch, so I don't have to bring out my my Wii U every time.
I still have not opened my Breath of the Wild. At this point, I think it's just going to be a sealed copy.
So, have you even played Tears of the Kingdom yet, Bestie?
No, but it's not a sealed copy.
Oh my god.
It's in my Switch case. My traveling Switch case I didn't bring.
Speaking of Metroid, and speaking of the fact that I do weird stuff involving tabletop RPGs in December, I have basically settled on the fact that this December I'm going to try and run a Metroid themed mini campaign, more likely than not using the Stars Without Numbers system, because I haven't found another system that I feel really works for Metroid. But if people have suggestions for a sci-fi based TTRPG that would work for Metroid, feel free to let me know. But as of right now, until I get obsessed with the Mana series again when that game comes out, right now it's looking like it's going to be Metroid, which should be fun. So,
all right, I've texted Lex something shocking, and that's all we need to reveal about that.
Other Zelda theme announcements or anything like that. There has been lots of amazing art and stuff coming out about the new Zelda game, specifically a lot of cosplayers cosplaying Zelda beating people to death with tables. So that's been very fun.
Which is good. I love
or hitting people with folding chairs and making professional wrestling reference.
It's Zelda with the steel chair.
Yeah, I saw a new screenshot from the game where Zelda looked a lot like Aerith and was holding a folding chair.
It's one of my favorite ones where it's Aerith over Sephiroth in the prayer position with the steel chair, and now we're gonna see that with Zelda, and it makes me so happy. It's one of my favorite recent images that I saw.
So the Zelda community is nothing if not creative and inventive.
That's one way of putting it.
With their fandom. So that's been very, very cool.
I like the word intense to describe fandom.
Yeah, that fits pretty well. As far as, do we have any ZU news to talk about? Other than everybody at ZU scrambling to figure out what they're going to do about a Zelda game coming out in a couple months.
That's normal.
Yeah. We got some stuff going behind the scenes, prepping some stuff.
Yeah, but
Cool,
normally
what stuff?
people are procrastinating for 6 months while they know the game is coming out, and then panicking for 2 months.
Only for
Now
bigger
they're just
games like
skip the
Tears of the Kingdom.
procrastination thing.
You'll have to find out when we're ready to talk about it.
That's
Yay!
the correct response.
That's code for I don't know what's going on. That's what that is.
It's a good
So-
PR response. It's better than Daniel Radcliffe did when asked if the new version of Merrily We Roll Along will have a recorded version going out. He's like, "Oh, I don't think I can talk about that." And I'm watching this and going, "So this means yes, there is one." And then 2 days later, they announced it.
I mean,
So.
they had people saw the signs.
Oh yeah,
I
the
mean,
signs were clear, but he did not do a good job of obfuscating.
he's not quite Tom Holland levels of.
Let's say, do we think he's worse than Mark Ruffalo or Tom Holland?
I was about to
Oh,
say
of course not.
no, but
Like,
the bar's
he
not
tried.
high for that.
He tried, but he's an actor. He should be better at it.
Also, I think Jonathan Groff did worse.
Thus far,
okay, I didn't
no
see
one
his interview,
else
but that
has live streamed the premiere of their movie to Facebook. So I think Mark Ruffalo still holds the top.
Yeah, but I really
easily.
enjoy the one where Tom Holland went live and is like, "I thought I had shared this unboxing with you," and he's reading the letter, and the other side says "confidential, do not share." That's just all the audience is saying as he's reading the letter out loud.
Sounds about right.
Anyway, so anything else really big going on that we need to talk about?
I don't
I'm in
think
2
so.
shows.
Yay!
What's the second one?
It's the Best of Cole Porter concert.
Oh, you're in both.
I'm in both of those. I'm not in the Red Mill for reasons that we can talk about later. Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I'm in Fiddler on the Roof. You do not need to take a trip, Elias. But if you happen to be in the Bay Area, come see the show. It'll be lots of fun. Or come see me sing in the Best of Cole Porter. I have way too much fun with it. And it might be a problem, but no one's told me to hold back a bit yet. So we're just rolling with it.
Just send me the dates and I'll see what I can do.
You don't have to come unless I suddenly become Golda, and then I'll be like, "Hey, fly out."
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know if you become Golda.
Because otherwise, it's like minor things. I don't want to make you travel for that. So
It's
But-
a few miles north. Usually not an
Yeah.
issue unless
yes, but the last 2 times, to my knowledge, that you've come up for shows, it has been an issue.
the last
So
2 times.
well, when you went and saw me last summer, you made it literally as the show started because of delays.
Oh, it wasn't.
So I
a
don't want to
delay.
cause you
It
anxiety.
wasn't a delay. I can't feel anxiety. Don't worry. It wasn't a delay.
Okay.
It was like a mix-up on like departure times, but I was
Mm.
able to actually fix it. Actually, honestly,
Yeah.
I think it was the
Yeah,
same
United
airline.
screw-
I think
Yeah,
it
I
was
think
the
United
same
screwed you
airline
over.
at the time.
Like, where I don't know if it screwed you over worse coming to try to come see my show because Elias tried to come see my show.
Well, yours because I
and
couldn't end up
United
seeing it.
fought me. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was he got screwed over so bad that he wasn't able to make it at all.
Yeah.
What this tells
So
me
I
is
think
that I
that's
just
worse,
I
but-
just need to always see afternoon shows because that I can salvage
Well,
apparently, but evening shows.
If
I
you do
can't.
decide you want to
Either
go,
way, I'm not flying United against San Francisco.
Yeah.
no, just fly into SJC.
That was
It's
his
right.
plan.
It's
Oh,
right
sorry,
there.
yes. So yeah, whatever the airport is.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
the
the plan.
airport code for San Jose.
That's the
Sorry.
thing. That was what he was trying to do.
I know, and then he had to fly to SF. whose airport code obviously is SFO. Um,
The O stands for airport.
did I mention my mom worked for the San Jose airport for years? I know way too many codes.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
My personal announcement is that anyone in the live Twitch chat and live Zoom call whose faces you see, if you would like to send me coffee, I will give you my physical address without hesitation.
So, to give Elias more time to get his coffee, I think it's time for us to return to the Tears of the Realms.
I keep forgetting.
The Tear Walkers are trapped. After making their way to the town Minish, they went to a barn where their Minish friend Fubari knew some of the inhabitants. But they were met with a less than warm welcome. Led by a Minish with a large, elaborate cape named Grumpo. The Minish here had become extremely wary of any travelers, so they immediately captured and imprisoned the Tearwalkers and their friend. After having a conversation with one of the local Minish, they were able to convince Grumpo to allow them up to the rafters to allow Mado a chance to perfect a new shield that would allow them to glide over the tops of the roofs instead of having to traverse the dangerous streets below to get between Minish residences. However, after showing the example, Grumpo seemed less than pleased, and thinking there was no way for them to leave from so high up, he locked them again away in this attic laboratory. And that is where we return.
Yeah,
All right.
Lex did not escape the room.
Yeah.
It was
So
the room
they-
is an alley.
It was me, Ilea, and Shaq, so it was an alley episode.
Yeah.
In a lab.
Yeah.
So hold on.
But
to
we
be clear,
did greatly anger the Grumpus.
The what?
His name is Grumpo. He is grumpy. He is a Grumpus.
so
Why
what
would you
in
give
okay,
him the
hold on.
dignity to give him a title like the Grumpus?
Pause. So what exactly did you do to anger him and be like, yeah, no, we're just locking you in here, sorry.
Well, Elias started
Oh.
with thank you, Shark.
Yeah, it was an episode of Shark Tank for some of it.
And Dilly continued that.
No, I said hello, sharks.
You say hello, Shark.
You said thank you, sharks.
I did at the end of everything.
So
that's what you do.
You pitched the thing without motto, and
No.
and they went,
No,
I'm out.
The thing.
Motto's there working.
Namato was very helpful.
Oh, so you guys were the PR for Motto.
The thing that made him angry was conveniently in the middle of our presentation, he got a scout report about the owl or the bird we killed in the
it was a hawk.
The
I
hawk.
thought we didn't kill it.
And they saw
we didn't see what
remnants of
happened.
my shadow fire on it as part of its wounds, and so they assumed that we could control the shadow curse, and they were upset.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm innocent.
Yeah, Grumpy with the side of anger has decided that Elias is causing the sickness
He
for
doesn't know it was
everyone.
me. I don't think.
okay.
So
He yells at us one more time, he might.
Yeah, they you guys did try to kind of convince him to let you go and speak to the elders because you guys claimed to have a cure for the shadow sickness. He didn't believe it, and just locked you guys in here, presumably to come up with something else to do with you guys. There's also a very large window in here.
And we did decide that we were going to escape using the window.
I mean, that kind of seems like the logical place to
Yeah,
go.
you were gonna have to shuttle us through your shield surfing prototype.
Yeah, back and forth.
Back and forth from a roof.
Because currently you have a sky surfing shield, but you have one sky surfing shield. So,
I think the plan. If I
and the reason they
Well, hold up a minute. Is there a way that, because we're trying to just escape out the window, out of the building, into just so we can go find them ourselves. Are there other buildings in this area? If I look out the window,
yeah,
are they directly across from the window?
yeah, the equivalent of probably like 150 to 200 feet away. Gliding,
Anybody here
you
got
can-
rope?
Gliding, you can reach them without too much difficulty. But without that, the reason that they locked you in here and assumed that you couldn't get out is you guys are at the top of a barn. And relative to your size, you're probably 20 or 30 stories in the air. So, yes, there is an opening to the outside here, but the only way to
20
go...
or 30 stories?
Minish stories.
Minish
It's a barn.
stories. Yeah, it's a barn. They're easily like 20, 30 feet high. Barns
Okay.
are big.
Okay, but isn't it like a story like 10 feet?
We're Minish.
So
So
to
again,
three-
relative to you,
Oh, okay. I'm
Again,
very confused by the scale here. Okay.
it's the same thing of the
'Cause my
building
thought
itself
was-
is not 150 to 200 feet actual feet,
It's
but
2 to
relative
3
to
feet.
you,
Okay, I get
it's
it.
about 150 to 200 feet.
Got it. Because I was gonna be like, well, could we, if it's easier, because it's the issue of I have to do a bunch of gliding to get people from to fro. How do I get back up?
It's horizontal.
Is
There's no. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I
I
guess.
mean, gliding does
Could you
involve
do like a
going
zip
down.
line kind of a thing where we can just get like a rope, go to the like toss to the other side, and then allow you guys to like either climb or
So
like
the way
shimmy your
that
way through.
the Minish go around currently is they go around on the ground. If there was a simple solution to get between buildings across, they would be using that. That's one of the reasons
Okay.
that motivated you to finish the shield, if you remember, going back like a month and a half,
Yeah.
was this technology could vastly change how they interact with the world that they're in. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Well, all right. Works for me. I go towards the window. Does the window have hinges so I can open it, or is it?
It is by window.
Or is it just barn door things at the very top, or like you like?
No, it's not even that. It's effectively kind of an exhaust port. It's a window frame with no window.
Oh, it's just got it.
Yeah, it's a
Don't
window
trip.
without anything in it. Again, it's mostly designed for kind of airflow in a barn. If you've ever seen barns, a lot of them do have.
Yeah, no, I know what you're
windows
talking
where
about.
And sometimes they'll
Right?
have vents on them. Modern ones will have like vents or something to make it slightly less easy for various things to go in. But
And you said it was like 150 to 200 feet across.
mm-hmm.
Okay. When we did the test, you're gonna have to remind me because my memory.
Well, you weren't
Brainless.
here when you actually did the test, so that might be
thought
why you
I
don't
was
remember it.
I was very
The first test.
successful.
The first test.
Yeah.
The original
Yeah.
test. I don't know. You'll have to explain what test you did after.
This is
Did
Yeah,
we
for
have
the-
you
so-
like go up on an angle so you could get more like height?
You had
before
me
you-
go up high and then shoot off.
Yeah, because Dilly shrank down. They took your shield, and then because anything they're wearing or have equipped shrinks with them, your shield prototype shrunk with Dilly,
Is-
and then they use that to be able to glide.
Is there a vent on the roof at all that we can get into a higher vantage point? Or beams?
No. You guys are already in the rafters. You're at the highest point.
But
that
where
you're
we
gonna be able to get to.
okay, but if I look back out, where we're landing is going to be shorter, or is it exact plane? Because the thing about like, you know, you are going to still get lower. It's not going to
It's
be
a glider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closest building, because again, this is a barn on the outskirts of town. The closest building is a little bit shorter than the barn, not by a significant amount, but there is like trim and stuff around the house to where you don't have to get to the roof. You could land on a gutter or other bits of trim and other things like that, and then climb back up to the roof eventually to be able to go between buildings. And once you get into the town proper, it becomes shorter distances because
Got
the
it.
buildings are built close together. You're looking at maybe like 50 to 100 feet instead of 150 to 200 feet. It's just because, again, you guys are in the outskirts of town. Your first traversal is going to be a long one.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, screw it. Let's just go for it. So I'm going to at least bring a couple people. Zarya can fly.
Nope.
Oh, we can. Zarya not flying in. Oh,
Zarya is a Minish.
right.
Zarya was very, very upset that you have discovered a way to pseudo fly before she could here.
That must have been another thing I missed.
She'll figure
Okay.
it out.
Last question. What test did you do when I was not here?
The same one, just as a demonstration for Grumpo.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Basically, the first test showed you a few of the instabilities in the model, so you fix them,
It's a
and
great
then you did the test
demonstration.
again for Grumpo, who
He just
could
hates
not
us.
have cared less.
I think we asked for too much from the Sharks, honestly.
Okay.
I think they got annoyed when I reappeared behind them.
That too.
Okay. Well, I guess the next test that we do is going to be a real field test.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're good. One last question before we exit alley mode here.
Yeah.
The end of the last episode, were we
Mm-hmm.
spending extra time to make a second one for some reason that had to do with like the mayor, or were we just
Yes.
thinking- okay.
I'm working on a second one right now.
Yes.
And I think we had essentially cut off the episode whenever we fast forwarded to finishing it.
Yeah, because it was going to
Yes.
take you, bare minimum is going to take you another like 4 to 6 hours to be able to do that. Because when you first started designing this, you had already been working on your sky surfing shield for a little while, so you already had kind of a
Yeah, I had a
simple prototype.
schematic because of a memory that I had, and I was trying to come up with like what I did. I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, or if no one remembers, I'm gonna make this the thing now. I'm pretty sure this was like you put this on your feet. I think was how I thought this was gonna be. Alia, since you were in both episodes, if you can confirm that, was something that you did. I have this design that you held it, or it was like on your feet.
It's a great question. I don't think we officially
Oh, you know what?
talked about it.
I think I
feet being
remember.
Involved.
I think it is because I think I put a little spring action that it could go up
It
to
was
get
a
us a leverage.
spring action.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
now I remember what it is. Okay, now I'm remembering. Thank you.
I did nothing, but I will
Can
take
I
it.
very quickly? I'm gonna look down the. I'm gonna go to the window
Mhm.
or window. Just look down to see if there's like a little place that maybe I can put like a rope so I can easily just climb up after once I'm like back here.
You do not have enough rope to get all the way down to the floor.
Is there
Again,
a lattice like that it connects to, or is it just straight down to the floor?
straight down to the floor. Again,
Okay.
it's the reason why they thought you would be stuck in here.
Got it. Okay. Well, gonna have to figure that out. All right. All right. We're just gonna give this a go. Who else wants to join?
I'm going to become Shmuel and join that way. So you can take two people.
Yeah, all right. What do I do?
You have the second one. Um.
Oh, yeah. What do I do?
Okay. See this button on like the back of it, like really close to your like the like if you he kind of shows the shield and there's like a little button on the back of it,
All right.
kind of near one of like I guess like what looks like a tail point.
Yep.
You're gonna press that button, it'll
Right.
deploy the propulsion mechanism to get you up,
Yep.
and then you just sort of like lean into it,
Uh-huh.
and then you kind of take it with the wind and like kind of balance it. And,
Yep. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if
I'm
this
going
works.
to I'm going to choose to go with the himbo.
Okay. The one that's actually done this before?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
But
So-
you also said that we could take like person, right?
Yeah,
Is
there
that
was some
correct?
sort of fairy.
Yeah, but we couldn't carry more than one. Is that right?
Yeah, theoretically, if you want to try and double up on one of these things, it might be theoretically possible. However, what I was about to say is Motto, because you're familiar with shield surfing in general, not just familiar, you're really, really good at it. You're not going to have an issue riding at all. However, you have never attempted a surf this long with no ability to kind of stop anywhere. Like normally you're shield surfing on actual ground.
Yeah.
So it's still going to require a difficulty 3 courage roll. However, Adesh, you have never
Yes.
shield surfed.
No.
You do not understand the process, so you're going to have to make a
got
similar
I've got it
thing.
locked into my head, but what am I rolling?
But it's going to be a difficulty 7.
Difficulty 7.
Ooh.
What roll?
Courage.
Courage.
Can I
All right.
argue a player intrusion token to go to argue a lower difficulty for myself, and the fact that I've in something that Motto was brought up before is in the kind of the rejoining of all the realms together. He had memories of him doing this as like Arita, where he was able to do it. Would I be able to argue that maybe some of that memory comes back to him in that moment?
So player intrusion token is effectively your GM for a sentence.
Oh, right.
What you're describing there,
that's just something.
what you're describing there is 100% what I would consider a negotiation, which is how Cipher System rolls are supposed to work. So
okay.
I'm 100% fine with, we can just treat it effectively that you are trained in shield surfing. So
Okay.
that will lower the difficulty for you by 1.
So it's now
so
a
instead of a
difficulty
difficulty 3, it's now difficulty 2.
I would
Um,
also like to explain to everyone how it went when I was in mini form of like instructions for how this feels and what you should do.
Okay.
Yep. Got it.
I'll let Adesh be able to use that as an asset. So that will reduce the difficulty
Reduce it to
down
a
to a
6.
6 for you.
Meaning
So you
Which
have
is
to roll an
actually possible to roll
possible
now.
to roll.
Yeah.
Real
right.
quick, Motto from Imp. Got a feeling you're going to need this. Take a reroll token.
I'm trying a new dice today, folks.
It's fine because they
Thank
only
you.
need to get a 6 now.
They all
So
roll the same
again,
numbers.
All right, I got my new
Um,
pride dice. Let's see how they roll.
just like what
Ooh.
so before you finish the roll, just like what Lex just did, the kind of point of me asking for a particular roll um is to kind of define what pool you're going to use and what the initial difficulty is going to be. From that point on, I highly encourage you guys to negotiate the roll. Go, well, I have this ability or I have this skill, or what if I do that? Will this give me an asset? Like that's how the cipher system's supposed to work. So
Gotcha.
while Motto is making his roll, because he should be able to hit a 6,
I did,
Elias,
thankfully.
you're more than welcome to start coming up with your negotiation tactics.
I mean,
So what? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the asset Dilly gave me was good.
Well, while you're thinking, let's go ahead and deal. Motto, what'd you get?
14. Success.
14. Cool.
Yay.
So, Motto, your expertise in shield surfing in general is at both times a huge asset to yourself and to everyone, and also a hindrance in the idea that you are so used to it being so easy for you and conversing with other people that are shield surfing enthusiasts that when you explain it to Motto or when you explain it to a Dash, you kind of do the same thing that like when a computer tech is trying to explain how to do something on a computer, they use all this jargon that they understand perfectly and no one else does.
Oh,
And so
also me.
Motto, you kind of go, oh, listen, you got to do this and this and this and this. Here, just watch. And then you guys watch as Motto slaps the back of his shield. He gets launched into the air, and then he just kind of leans into it and gets into this very kind of angled pose. And you watch him just very effortlessly soar, seemingly defying gravity, the entire 200 feet, and you're able to land underneath a gutter pretty safely.
Motto is fully like losing his mind about this, for the record of that. I think it did it. Okay, that worked.
Billy is going to
Ha!
resize and be like, be cool, be cool, be cool, be cool.
Oh, right. We're not supposed to be out.
So Adesh, as
Were
you
you
watch
not-
him do this, it makes less sense than when he explained it to you originally for how this works, because everything you know about gravity and how things work, like none of that makes sense with how he was doing the shield surfing thing. And so you are still very, very confused, but you remember what Dilly said. You're going, okay, so
Yeah.
keep weight balanced, but tilted forward and doing this. You're kind of going over that in your head, but it still looks like a very daunting task to you.
Did I hear Mattos freak out about it actually working?
He would be far enough away that you wouldn't have heard
Okay,
him.
just checking.
If you were watching incredibly intently, you might have been able to see a bit of the freak out.
You just would have seen him like jumping up and down and being like very excited.
But he's far enough away at this point. Again, 200 feet, even with good eyesight, you're gonna have a hard time, reading lips or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have too many skills that would help understanding. There's nothing elemental air-wise I have. My magic ancillary isn't great. Nothing knowledge-wise. I'm checking my
No ciphers that can help you.
use action. I'm gonna
I have
use
a brand new
Forgive
list
me,
of ciphers.
tears.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at
Yeah,
the
tears.
teardrops. They're called. Yeah, I'm gonna.
When
I
have we
find a
cared
word,
what
I
things are
stick to it.
actually called?
Trifork, anyone?
I'm gonna use
I
my
missed the Trifork.
The laser pointer. So as you see here,
the tri-rod. I'm gonna use my tri-rod. My stim.
that just sounds worse.
Yeah.
Teardrop, which eases
sounds
the
dirty.
user's next action by 3 steps.
All right. So that'll bring it to difficulty
And then it's used
3.
up.
So you guys watch as Adesh kind of pulls something out of his pocket. Was that
It was
the
subtle.
that was oh yeah? So you just watch as Adesh just kind of concentrates, and you can almost see this kind of shimmer around him as he suddenly becomes very confident of what he's about to do.
It almost makes you
So
jealous, Matto. And then I
yeah.
okay, button here, wait here, and we're going.
And what did you roll? Need a 9 or higher,
Uh-huh.
which is a lot better than 21 you were
So
looking at.
this is a great time
This
to
doesn't sound
mention
like you rolled a
that
9.
sending reroll tokens is incredibly important, and I love the one that was sent to Motto, but we need to remember how Elias rolls,
That's
and
fine.
that is not good, actually. It
I'll
is,
use the one reroll I have here.
yeah.
Because I
So
rolled an 8.
yay, thank you, Imp.
You rolled an 8?
Yeah. It was a slap
So
in the
real
face.
quick from Imp, Adesh, try again, Sparky. Take a reroll token.
I just will mark that one down.
I realize Dilly's ability to talk and get people's attention is just me trying to vamp until people send rewards for others in this game.
I think people are aware of this.
It's funny.
Oh,
whenever
I'm
you
sure
make
it has been for years,
an
but
RPG character, figuring out eventually what aspect of your personality you lean into for it.
yeah, the answer is usually the chaos aspect, but
Yeah. Okay, so I start to lean. I'm like, wait, nope, not that much.
it's a false start. No. Just run a window.
I start to lean again. I almost trip and fall out of the window, but I catch myself because I have one more reroll token from that natural one.
Oh,
again,
no.
we need to remember how Elias rolls. And Elias really should have multiple roll
Elias
tokens
cleanser
in the
dice,
bank
please.
regularly.
It's basically 50-50. It's a little better than 50-50.
It's really unfortunate because it feels like in all the like major, important, tense moments where something could go really wrong, Elias rolls and then it does.
Look, it's not like I was almost eaten by a snake earlier or something.
Or that you, in a previous game, nearly just decided, I'm going to sink to the bottom of a lake. Why not?
I can hold my breath.
Oh,
for
I
a while,
remember
it's
that.
fine.
Real quick from Imp, Adesh, I should let this happen. Take another reroll token.
Thank you, Imp.
Imp's being nice.
Imp is single-handedly saving Adesh right now.
I haven't deleted any.
If there's a third under 9.
Yeah, the odds are crazy, right? Like, there's
I mean,
no
statistically,
way.
you should have gotten a good roll by accident at this point, but
yeah.
All right, now I'm going to use my last reroll token.
Oh my god!
What did you get
like,
that time?
So, Motto, you're sitting there and you're watching.
I keep psyching
Adesh,
myself out.
and each time you watch as Adesh gets closer to the window, and you see him kind of do it, and then he's like, "Wait a minute," and he'll like.
Motto was like being so supportive, being like, "Come on."
That's
Dilly's watching this and being like, "He's gonna biff this." Yeah.
No second ascent. All right.
No, we're not gonna give you an asset for a cheer squad.
All right, 17.
Yay!
All right,
there we go.
Only
took
two
four
rerolls for
rolls.
me, but I didn't fall plummet to my death.
And all your reroll tokens.
Yep.
So in your mind, Motto, you are kind of visualizing yourself going through this. You're like positive thinking. I'm going to visualize myself doing it. And the first time you visualize yourself doing it, you don't even make it 5 feet. You just drop. The second time, you don't even make it airborne. You just trip and fall. You're like, these are bad visualizations. And so you try one more time. You kind of visualize yourself just barely missing it. And you're like, well, that's close enough. And so you hit the button, you go up in the air and you lean into it. And you're like, wait a minute. This is kind of fun. This is great. Oh, that's a wall. And you smash into the wall right next to Motto. With as successful a journey as it could have been, being your first time ever shield surfing.
That was great.
Next time, please tell me how to land this thing.
Oh, you know what? That's fair. That's on me. Sorry about that. But that was
Honestly,
great. You controlled well.
that's also on me, but I did not think you would get to landing. So good job.
Did I in all this period and when I made that second prototype, did I figure out a way to like press the button to have the things retract, or do I have to wind them up? Because I know in the original one I had to wind them.
Right now, you would not have had the technology available to you to make an auto coil effectively.
Okay,
Um,
I'm gonna take a second to like
yeah.
rewind all of those for both my shield and for the one Adesh just used.
Mhm.
Oh, and my stim is gone.
Take like I guess like 5-ish minutes to do that very quickly.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do I
Um
feel any? Well, I guess I'm in pain, but in general, do I feel any different um, now that I have one less teardrop within me?
Um, not really different. They're like it's basically one of those things like you don't realize uh you have something until it's gone. You know, you feel kind of a lightness because carrying so many teardrops does have kind of a physical effect on you. It does feel somewhat draining and requires a little bit of extra effort to kind of interact with the things when you have that many, and especially with a subtle one where it was literally a part of you. So some of that weight, I guess, additional weight has been taken
Yeah.
off from you.
Okay. That was my only subtle stim that I'm actively carrying, or a subtle teardrop. All
Yeah,
right, yeah,
teardrop.
I'll
Yeah.
just be here on the floor for a bit. You guys, Matto, you're a pro. You just keep bringing everyone else over.
yeah. I guess I go back and try to find my way back up very carefully and then do it again.
Yeah, finding a way up to the top of this house. Go ahead and roll me a courage check. And there isn't a difficulty for this because it's basically you can't fail. This is just going to decide how long it takes you to get to the top.
5.
5. So it takes you another like 30, 45 minutes to find your way up. You were only about like 15-ish, 15, 20 feet away from the roof, but you were underneath a gutter when you landed. And so you had to kind of like circumnavigate a decent part of the house to get to the point where you could climb up. But now you're at the top of it. And looking back, again, the barn was taller than this house. So shield surfing back, you can get to the barn, but you're going to run into the issue of you're going to be underneath the window by probably 50 or 60 feet at best. Yes, Adesh.
This is Elias. Because Adesh is still just like
Napping.
consciously napping on the ground.
I'm just resting my eyes,
Watching
guys. That's it.
watching Adesh wipe out against the wall in slow motion with Matto's specifically shield geared engineering mind in play. Would that give him ideas about how to potentially recover from a wall landing in any way?
Oh.
To be blunt, I think Adesh is probably very familiar with running face first into various objects.
I've gotten hurt a lot in this teardrop. I'm saying no. I was asking on Matto's behalf. When Matto watching me and studying me, would that give him any ideas?
If Motto wants to try and come up with a way to kind of scale back up, he's more than welcome to.
You know what? I want to run with that. Hold on a minute. Let me think about the way I could justify this.
Justification makes it happen. Justification. There was a song on Sesame Street that my parents used to sing to me constantly. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but the song just went, cooperation makes it happen. Cooperation, work it together. Sing it. And so
Really
that song
quick,
has been stuck in my head for 30 years.
really quick. Before we go through the whole, I go up and take 34 minutes to climb up to the top of the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
While we're on the ground, I want
You're
to
not on
test
the
something.
ground. You're in the air. You're in the side of a building.
Can I, before we say that
Before
we
you,
cut to there,
okay.
while I'm still on the ground, with this thought in mind,
All right,
I
stop. You have not been on the ground this entire episode. You went from a
The
window
roof.
200 feet in the air. So where exactly do you want to, when you landed on the gutter?
I'm on the gutter. Okay.
Yeah, you're on the gutter. The entire purpose of this is to avoid touching the ground because being on the ground
Got
makes you a
it.
target for the
Apologies.
tall
I
ones.
thought I completely did not. Still, I guess when we get one now that I'm on the roof, I want to test something with
It
the.
would take longer than 45 minutes to climb an entire building.
Yeah, okay, so I was completely in. I was not understanding that. Well, I guess now that I'm on the roof, I'm gonna press the button on the shield, and instead of it traversing, I want to see what happens when they go up and then land. Because I know I have to rewind them, but I want to check if there's another, if they are springy enough that if I go at an angle where I can still press it against the wall, will I get another thing back so I can maybe get extra height if I angle it correctly? If it gives me enough to get more bounce from it.
Okay.
Because now the thought process here is, okay, if I can do this enough, and while they're engaged, I can still aim them so I can like land on the wall, get extra traction to maybe, or get extra air that I can maybe at least get a latch or a hand on the little window thing so I could climb back up is the thought process.
Choose even or odd.
Even.
All right. So as instead of using it to kind of propel you forward, you tilt the shield in such a way that it's going to launch you directly up. And as you go up, you can feel the shield start to glide because that is what it is designed to do. And so you realize that in order to go straight up and then straight back down, you have to tilt the shield in a way that it doesn't catch the air. And that also means that the spring is no longer directly below you. So it takes you probably a good 10 to 15 minutes to figure out the timing it takes to jump into the air, flip the shield so that you don't start going forward, and then immediately bring it back down to get it to land on the spring. And when you do that, some of the energy from you falling and everything is lost just due to conservation of momentum and things like that. So when you kind of bounce again, you get maybe a quarter of the height you got before. So let's say, to use easy numbers, let's say it launches you 10 feet into the air normally.
So 5.
You're only going, well, 1/4 of 10 is 2.5.
Oh, so 2.5. Okay.
So you really don't get a ton of the lift. And since with your calculations, you're going to be shy of the window, probably about, anywhere between 40 to 60 feet.
That's not going to be enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, you do have 2 shields.
I mean, this is gonna be a very weird idea, but you know what? Sure. Let's all right. I'm gonna send this idea. Okay. With those 2 shields in mind, I will take the second shield. The shield that I have, I'm gonna try to just get there.
Okay.
And then the next thought is when I get to the barn, I'm gonna have the other shield in my hands. I'm going to, when we get there, I'm going to once I almost make contact, I'm gonna press the button, use the shield, and then like as I actually make impact with it, I'm going to rock the first shield in a way as I press the button that it should extend the thing out, bring me up into a little bit of a parabolic thing that I can maybe do like a little like loop flip thing that gets me high enough so I can go in. I have no idea if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. So again, we've established it launched you up about 10 feet.
Yes.
So even if you get maximum height and somehow get the entire 10 feet vertical, you're still shy about 30 feet. So
How much
if
rope do I have?
your
None.
standard,
Like we're
if
50 feet?
50 feet tends to be the standard amount of rope if you are carrying it with you.
How good are you at the lasso?
Only one way to find out.
Otherwise, I think you and I have spoken about this before. Part of because you're trained in climbing, aren't you?
Oh, I am training climbing. Duh.
Because
I didn't
you and
think
I
about that.
discussed like the fact that in order for you to get to shield surfing spots, you would have to climb.
Oh yeah.
So it would make sense to me for you to have climbing gear with you, and
That works for me.
If it carried over.
the the barn itself, it has wood siding, so it's not like a rock. Like it's porous like wood, and can be pierced by various things. So if you want to go over there and attempt to climb your way up, that is a possibility.
The problem with that is because it's wood and
Again,
when we were
don't view it like you are climbing up a normal person size house, because you are not a normal person size thing in relation
the
to this.
only thing I'm worried about that is, did I get the sense when we were in the barn that we were literally the only people in the barn? Because if I'm going to be doing that and climbing and piercing through things, that makes noise.
Of course you're not the only people in the barn. There's an entire multiple families of Minish that are in there. That's the reason why you're locked in the top of the barn, is they locked
Right.
you in there.
Right. So that means it's gonna. If I try to do something that's gonna pierce, it's gonna.
Okay.
Because I also want to do this quietly.
All right.
But in my climbing gear, there's probably like at least like a hook that I can throw so I can have a place to just climb the rope. So okay. Game plan. I'm gonna glide and I'm going to take the little like grappling hook thing and try and aim it for a place in the window where I can hook it and then climb up once I get to the side of the barn.
Okay. I'm gonna say with how far you have to throw it in order to be able to hook it, it's going to be outside the kind of normal range of the grappling hook. So it is going to increase the difficulty by one step. So because you figured out how to shield surf and you have a specific ability that allows you to shield surf and do other things at the same time, you're no longer going to have to roll for the shield surfing. But I am going to have you make a courage check, difficulty. Normally it would be a difficulty 4. We're going to increase it to difficulty 5 because of how far away it is to hit your grapple point.
Right, and I can't and climbing. I can't argue with this because it's we're throwing. We're not climbing yet.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's a grappling hook, so if you want to use your climbing skill that you're trained in, I'll let you use that as a skill. So that eases it
that
one
would
step.
drop it. That would drop it to 4.
So it's a 4.
And normally I would try because I know the one when I use enlarge as part of my thing with Minish, I could technically do things more easily, but the problem is I haven't tested that with the shield. So that seems like not the wisest thing at the moment. That can be something if it happens later on, I can try. All right, we're just gonna go with difficulty 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna use a reroll for that.
We're crushing it today.
Difficulty was a
12.
difficult. Okay, 15. 16.
15. Cool. All right, so you guys watch as Mato sits there, and you guys can kind of hear Mato having a kind of conversation with himself. So he's going, "Well, if I do that, but no, you've totally got this, Mato. You're like amazing at this." And you can hear him kind of talking himself up, and eventually you see him just go, "Okay,
What if I do this? What if I do this? Oh wait, I have the thing. Yeah, I forgot I have this thing too. Okay.
And so he gets to the point, you watch him hit the button on the shield, it gets launched up and he starts gliding through. And then about halfway there, you watch him pull out and start just swinging something that's kind of hard to see by the time he's that far. And suddenly, as he's getting closer, you watch him just go boom. And you see this tiny little speck go up and go into the window and get lost for a second. And then Mato, you're sitting there and you're pulling on it, and there's no grip. Like you're just pulling and nothing's happening. You're like, this is bad, this is bad. There's a wall, there's a wall, there's a wall. And as soon as you hit the wall, you feel the tautness happen. And so you kind of like boom, chunk. Oh, good. And it takes you a couple of seconds to realize, oh, I'm not falling. This is great. This is great. And I have this. Cool. And so it takes you a little bit of time to figure out how to climb without using your feet because they're currently kind of attached to this shield. But over the next like 15 minutes, you're able to finally get all the way up in there.
Okay.
And you
Turn
basically
to-
just have two more people to get across. What was that, Adesh?
I was gonna say I turned to Dilly and be like, why is he always so surprised when his inventions work?
I thought he was going to biff it.
Oh. So should I be surprised? Should we not be trusting him to make things work? Because they work.
No, the technology works great, but it's a glider. It can't go up.
You just made
Those-
it go up. The whole plane was dependent on him making it go up. He did it. It's fine.
Well, there was something that came out, and now he's climbing a wall. So,
Yeah, he's got arms. He's fine.
aren't there 3 people still over there? Is Dottie in the room with us? Dottie's character.
I'm
Fubari,
assuming
yeah.
Fubari is.
Fubari.
So yeah, there's Fubari. Oh yeah, there is 3. Math is hard, guys. So
Trust
yeah,
me.
Fubari, Aino, and
Zariah.
Zariah. Thank you. Wow.
I'm going to assume I've given I still have the other shield from Adesh, so I'm going to give
Oh, that's right.
Aino one of the other shield because I feel like Aino would look at it and be very intrigued by it.
I assume I know listen to the directions from earlier.
As many notes.
I guess-
as many notes as she took from my.
Actually, I kind of think that Aki listened while Aino was taking notes on something else, and then Aki just filled in Aino, and she's, oh, that makes sense. Yes. Why do you all treat like this is very basic aerodynamics? Like, I mean, you have curved shape, and so wind has to go faster over one surface than another. That creates lift. It works.
Okay.
Very simple.
So
Hey, Adesh,
What's up?
what do you want to bet that I know's giving some kind of complicated technological speech right now?
I would never bet against that ever in my life.
now
Mart?
So here's my other question. So the am I gonna need to roll for navigating when I have another person with me that's the same size?
Yes, that is going to be a massively different experience than doing it on your own. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think you've ever had someone
No.
right along with you.
And the only reason why Dilly was able to do it was because they were a minish,
Yeah, they were.
like even smaller,
Yeah,
I was
they
a
were-
mini minish.
mini-ish.
So I'm gonna
Um,
say, without any modifications to it, being able to make a distance this long with a passenger that you've never had before is going to be a difficulty 6.
I'm gonna burn a level of effort to make that a 5.
Okay.
Okay.
So who do you want to bring with you? Were you going to bring Zaraya or Aino or Fubari?
I guess I'll bring Fubari. It doesn't specifically matter because I rolled a 7.
Awesome.
So it doesn't matter. So I think what probably happens is I think I I get out the door. But this is a very different type of thing that I have not figured out yet. So I get like 55, 60 feet, and then we start going down.
Or you could let me decide how the rolls
That
go,
also
but
works.
yeah.
Unless it was, if, yeah,
It's kind of my only job here.
that's fair. Sorry.
Like, so yeah, effectively, that's kind of what happens as you get there, and I do need you to pick who you're going to have with you because it is going to change what happens
Let's go with
next.
Fubari.
Fubari, okay. That was a very good choice, by the way.
Oh, no.
No, because you guys don't know the things that I know about how we built Fubari's character.
Evidently.
So as Fubari gets in there and she kind of just, with the enthusiasm that she seems to just always have, like Mado, you're sitting there and trying to explain, okay, this is going to be really difficult, so I'm going to, and you're going through everything. It's like, I'm going to need you here, and I'm going to need you to make sure that your weight is this way and all this stuff, and you're doing all this stuff. And Fubari's just like, okay, sounds great. I just watched you do this before. It's very easy to do. I watched you do it before. I watched Adesh do it. It will be fine. And so she just very happily kind of puts her hands around your waist. She's like, we go now. And
Okay.
as you sit there, you realize in the back of your head, instead of the voice that you normally hear that's trying to, it's that imposter syndrome voice in the back of your head going, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. I can't believe you convinced all these people that you know what you're doing. You're horrible. You just, for no explicable reason, you hear this little voice of positivity behind you going, this is so easy. You've done it before. And you're like, yeah. And you hit the button and you go, and it's nothing like it was before. Having an additional person behind you has completely destroyed the aerodynamics of this. And the first thing that happens is you immediately start falling. And you realize, oh, shoot, 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 shoot. And so you instantly kind of shift yourself. You grab one of Fubari's arms and kind of whip her around. And she's having a blast. She thinks this is the most amazing thing ever. And so she comes around, she's like, wow. And she's now in front of you. And that shifted the weight forward, which is where you need it to be. And so you start gliding, but then you're gliding a little bit too far. You realize that you can't shift your weight forward enough. And so you kind of lift Fubari up to kind of shift the weight platform. You start kind of climbing a little bit because gliding does work that way. And then you start falling. And you are within about 30 feet of where you want to be. And you realize at that point, this isn't happening. There is nothing I can do. There is no way I'm going to save this. We're going to plummet about 150 feet to nothingness. And there's nothing I can do to stop this. And you get this sudden peace as this happens. You're like, this is it. This is the end. You know what? Of the various ways that I could go out, I'm in a brand new place, shield surfing in a way that no one has ever done this before. I'm okay with this. And you just kind of get this kind of acceptance of, if I was going to go out, this is the exact way I would want to go out. And then you suddenly hear this, and you look up, and Fubari has what looks like a fish hook attached to fishing line and a strange contraption that you have never seen before. And she has just launched it. And it hooks onto a place just above the gutter that you landed before. And you watch as she just kind of loops it around her belt loop. And she just looks at you and goes, time for you to hold on. And she just kind of grabs your waist. And suddenly you feel her start going up. And instinctively, you just grab. And now you are dangling as she sits there and goes, that was good. And then you hear this kind of ratcheting sound as you slowly start moving up.
Have you had that the whole time?
Yes. By the way, guys, Fubari is effectively an artificer.
I
Her
turned to
entire
Dilly.
character.
For a whole like minute and a half, I'm just like, I'm about to
Oh, yeah.
need to make a new character. This is cool, I guess.
I turned to Dilly.
It takes
like, has she
about
had that
5
the whole
minutes to
time?
go all the way up.
Yeah, okay.
I guess I come back up. I take a second of just like, you've had this the whole time? Can I see that?
And she, yes, and she kind of shows it to you. The technology that she uses, with your understanding of kind of mechanics in general, it looks like witchcraft. Like you're looking at this, like none of this makes sense. And if you had a week to study this gun, you might be able to figure out how it works. But for whatever reason, Fubari has made these connections between, and they're all mundane items that are working together in ways that you don't think are possible. But Fubari just happens to have this really strange mind, and again, your quick looking of it without taking it apart, it looks like nonsense to you, but it obviously works. And you start to realize, especially since you were holding her so closely, Fubari, her jacket and her shirt and everything are lined with all of these pockets. And as you're sitting there gripping her for dear life, you realize all of these pockets are full of everything imaginable you could think of. And you guys already had seen her using like some of the weapons that she uses and some of the things. They are obviously like human-sized items that she's kind of reutilized to do different things. And you're just now starting to realize that she is a tinkerer and an inventor in her own right.
As we I take a look at this like thing that she has. I just take a notebook out slowly, kind of just sketch out schematics. Fubari, at some point I'm gonna want you to explain to me how this was built. But thank you for doing that, because otherwise we would have died.
Wait, was
And
that
she just looks at you. She just looks at you. She's like, You are not prepared? I always prepare for things like that.
Wait,
Seems
was that not
very,
part of the
very
plan?
bad idea to leap into nothingness without backup plan.
That was a new experience. I have some already notes for myself. I know you into that weapon, but I'm assuming this weapon was set up in a way that it could retract whatever that hook was, right?
Effectively, that's what the ratcheting sound that you guys heard was. She wasn't pulling you up. She had some sort of ratcheting device that unfortunately you couldn't see it. But it was you did see her attach something to her belt, and then she fidgeted with something down there, and so there is some sort of ratcheting device developed built into it that allows her to raise herself without having to.
I was going to ask
physically
if
climb.
that was something that was visible enough where I could analyze it so I could maybe make adjustments to the shield for recoiling the springs, but that doesn't seem like that's a thing. Okay.
Yeah, it was still a manual thing. It was just instead of using physical strength, she was able to kind of use this ratcheting thing, but she still had to turn the ratcheting herself.
Okay, then never mind.
Yeah. As you're sitting there, you suddenly hear this, and you realize like that was a bolt of lightning. And you're like, what in the world? And you look over, and Aino is standing on the top of the roof while the rest of you guys keep aiming for this gutter. Aino is at the top of the roof with a key just sitting there kind of sparking. She goes, Dash, there might have been problems. I don't think we were going to make it. So I still have your shield, but I think you need to redesign. It doesn't feel like it goes far enough to reach here.
Yeah. Okay.
Or sorry,
I
Mado.
know.
What does it look like? Right, like it, like
Shield's perfectly fine. She has an ability to teleport as a bolt of lightning.
got it.
So when she got close enough, she just teleported.
So we've left Zarya with no shields and no flying powers.
Is just fuming at this point.
See, I thought this was the reason you said it was a wise choice.
Everyone can.
Okay.
So, Mado, since you have already done this once, if you want to go back over using the same kind of grappling hook method, we won't make you roll for that. You can just do that.
I'll go ahead and do that. But
Okay.
before I do that, can I ask? I know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it's missing to be able to make this work?
Propulsion would be nice. Like if you could put a rocket or maybe just
I
a
have a
really
bomb.
big fan that just like and it blows you further. I think that might be good.
Billy offers an Aruna bomb.
How many of those do you have?
I
I mean, I
haven't
think I
used
have
them,
one
so
of
I
the-
have two.
I mean, I think I have one of those too, because, but like, I don't.
Aruna hands them
gave-
out like candy.
Yeah,
It's just, you know,
I asked for an extra one.
he's got that special bag, but you can only carry so
So the
many
problem
of
is, I
these
also
things.
want to make sure we do this quietly.
I just
Um,
haven't used them. I keep offering and
is
no
there-
one uses them.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to get
Might be
Zarya.
something you
Okay.
don't have in
Is
common.
there anything else in this area that I can maybe use to give us more propulsion?
Uh,
Because rockets are not going to work. I don't think there was a fan in this room last I
No.
checked.
there's you would have to spend at least the rest of the day, if not the rest of the next day as well, designing something to add that. However,
Matto,
as you're trying to kind of brainstorm and everything, Zarya takes the shield, jumps out the window, and glides better than you because
Zarya-
she knows how to fly.
But Zarya didn't have a shield.
She took a shield from a Dash, or not a Dash model. I don't know why I keep calling you
No.
a Dash.
I guess I brought both with me. That's fine.
I assumed
Um,
because that's what you did last time, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
I assumed you were doing the exact same thing.
Oh,
And so
yeah,
yeah,
then
she
that's
just
fine.
takes the additional shield and just glides over. Because she's very familiar with how gliding works. She's done it a million times.
Okay. Well, so then what I'm going to do is I'll take
Hurling
the
little insults the entire way.
at me.
Yes. She's still mad that you get to fly and she doesn't. And that you left her for last.
I'm sorry. I'm going to take the grappling hook
Mhm.
back and put that in my bag. I want to do one last scan of that room.
Okay.
If there's anything that could be useful, I would like to take it.
I mean, you're in a workshop, so it has tools, it has a bit of raw materials, but to be blunt, you've used the majority of the raw materials to create 2 shields, and that's about it. Like, there's some
Okay.
reams of
I'm-
paper, drawing,
Got enough
you know,
paper.
stuff.
I've got enough tools. All right. I'm just gonna leave the tools as is, and I'm just gonna go back.
Okay. And yeah, since you've done this before, you have no problem getting back there. All of you have only been able to glide down to the gutter. The only person that's made it to the roof on the other side has been Ino because she teleported.
I would like to take out my daggers and climb up to the roof, depending on how far away you tell me the roof is from this gutter.
Didn't I climb up the roof at one point with like it took like 45 minutes?
That's how you got across.
Okay.
So yeah,
Rescue, come on.
yeah, you all can follow his kind of circular route to get up there, or if you want to just go straight up the wall, you can. Dilly. I just need a courage difficulty 2 roll. Because again, this is kind of what you do.
Now I have to use this keyboard. Technology is fun. I got a 12.
Well, yeah, perfectly fine. So as everyone else is like kind of going over different things, you just go, and you're up there. Like you and Ino are just having a nice time, and Ino's going, "Wasn't that fun?" Like at
I would
Kiev,
like
he
to
was thinking this was
sing.
cool.
I would like to sing on my way up. Give me a home among the gum trees with lots of plum trees. A
Nerd.
sheep or two with a kangaroo.
I know. I would guess I know would join you in the song. She might not even know it, but she'll figure it out.
Clothesline out the back. I ran
She
around the
knows the
front.
book
And an
version.
old one rocking chair.
So that
All
is
right.
what that song sounds like. We did not have the sheet music for it. We only had the lyrics written down. That's a very nice song.
It is a very nice song. Don't know where I learned it.
So now you guys you're still on the edge of town, but you're in the town proper. So the buildings themselves are only about 50 to 100 feet between each other. And they have like higher points that you can kind of go between. So as long as none of you are kind of doubling up, you guys can make it from rooftop to rooftop without too much difficulty. After Mado, after your experience with having a second rider, um, you are at least as far as the air ones are concerned, you have ideas about how that might be possible, but with the current prototype that you have, you are relatively certain it's impossible right now to carry two people on a single shield. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
I need to come up with a new prototype for something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And that obviously gives you ideas for other kind of dual shield.
I think there's a couple things.
Surfing things.
I think in Mato's mind, Mato's thinking of a couple different things that they also want to do to make sure before that we can do it to just optimize the shields that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the big problems at the current moment was propulsion and then height. So making that I think is going to be the easiest option. So I think he's going to start slowly drafting something, but he's going to be eyeing like making sure he can auto tighten the springs. And if there's a better way to do propulsion is his next thing.
Well, currently right now you guys have to kind of hop around rooftops. So to kind of make that go a little bit faster. Go ahead. Did you have something else?
Well, I was just gonna ask in the time I wiped out initially and the time it took for Mado to be a concerning ferry service. Would you say that was about an hour or more?
Easily, probably about hour and a half, 2 hours.
Just be laying there recovering.
Yeah, go ahead and make a recovery roll if you guys want to. As a reminder, you guys have 3 recovery rolls per day. The first one takes a single action. The second one takes an hour. The third one takes 10 hours.
I forget how those work.
You roll a d6 and add, I think for most of you, it's a d6 plus 2.
I think the thing is I can't remember what my max started at, so everything is currently maxed, and I think everything's fine, but I don't remember.
I just get hurt a lot here, so I'm trying to stay on top of it, but continue.
If you look on your character sheet, you'll see recovery rolls 1d6, and for you it's a +1. And then you see you have 1 action, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 10 hour. Oh, there's 4, so 1 action, 10 minutes.
I think I just want to make sure that I'm not. I think I have everything set correctly. It's fine. I'll figure it out. If I don't, I'll figure this out.
Yeah, the way that the character sheet is supposed to work is the black number below everything is your max, and then the red number is your current value. So anytime you take damage or whatever, you use points. You would have used, because you used you added an edge to that wisdom check. So because you have or you added effort to that wisdom check, because you have an edge of 2 in wisdom, that would have only cost you 1 wisdom point. So if you want to reduce your wisdom score by 1.
Gotcha. Because I had an effort token, so I used that. So I don't.
Oh,
I don't
effort
think I
token.
need
Then
that.
no, it didn't cost anything.
Yeah. No. So that's why I was able to do that.
Lex, you are suddenly the echo of all echoes.
What?
Yeah, your gain just like went up crazy high I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I've touched nothing. What the heck?
It's crazy.
Not right now, but
What?
suddenly.
But the first bit was overwhelming,
Why?
but it
Sorry,
was still
what
crazy.
the heck just happened then?
You sound much better now.
Yeah, because I lowered it to like super duper low.
It might have been while you were typing. Like I do this every so often. There are keyboard shortcuts to like increase volume and mute and things like that. And it might have been you thought you were typing something, your computer like changed the window on you for a second, and you accidentally hit the button.
But I use the Wave XLR. Everything's through like a dial. Wave
Ah.
Elgato, please. Okay, it's fine. What
So
in
anyway,
Okay, that
um,
was terrifying.
taking Fubari's advice, you guys are able to eventually get to what you guys recognize is the library. Um, is the actual building, but inside the library itself is the kind of town hall for the town Minish. And you're able to get there again without too much difficulty. Unfortunately, though, that is where we're going to end it for today. Ending it a little bit early this week because I'm a little bit under the weather. But as always, if you missed any of this, you can actually watch the entire series right here on twitch.tv/Zelda Universe TV. Just click on the videos. You can go right to the Tears of the Realm section and watch every single episode we've had. We're actually getting close to the 1 year anniversary of Tears of the Realms here, which is
Wild.
super cool. So yeah.
Shout out to Jody for continuing to DM while sick.
DM this nonsense.
And doing math and doing.
Yeah.
And dealing with me being insane.
Oh, you weren't here yesterday or last week.
Last week.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It got weird. I was having a bad brain day and just everything didn't work. So
Oh.
And then we threw hello sharks.
yeah, it was a very bizarre week.
Hello.
Anyway,
oh, right.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, we will see you guys next time. All right, bye bye.